What's up, everyone? JJ here. Happy Friday. I will be doing a Best Ball Mania draft. I'm actually already in it. Hasn't started yet, though. And then maybe we'll do another draft after that today, since it is Friday and it's fantasy football season. But yeah, let's do this Best Ball Mania draft first. Let's do it. I got the 2 spot in this draft, which I am not unhappy about. It's nice to get an early-ish pick. Had the 112 earlier today in a Best Ball Mania draft, and I didn't love the team, as is usually the case. Clean feed. Let's hope, man. Let's hope that we get no internet troubles today. That looks like I'm on the clock, and looks like we're going CD Lamb. I realize I didn't turn on the fan in here. Might get a little hot. I might have to text my wife to come and turn on the fan that's above me, because it gets very, very hot in here. $112 is pain. I agree. I did get Garrett Wilson, which was nice. So it wasn't as bad of a first rounder, because I do think that he's going to be rising a little bit over the next month. But yeah, I mean, it's just like you get to the 3rd and the 4th and you don't feel great about the options there. And then you get to the 5th and the 6th, and it's almost the same kind of guys that you would get in the, middle of the 5th. Like there's just, or sorry, in the 6th. It's just not, it's not the best spot to be. When you're not drafting on camera, do you still talk out loud? I do for sure. The only talking out loud that I do whenever I'm not drafting in front of a camera is, "You've got to be kidding me." That's what I say out loud verbally. And my wife thinks I'm talking to her. My daughter looks at me funny. My son doesn't really understand what that means yet. I tilt out loud. Remember those sweet, sweet days we can get AJ Brown and Wilson at the 1-2 turn? I do remember those days. Those days were great. I miss them. I'm thinking about doing one of the single entry ones, though, the 20-second clocks after this. What is it? The Bulldog is the $75 one, and then there's the $5 one. So maybe I'll say, if this draft goes well, if we get like an 8 out of 10 or better, we'll go after the Bulldog. Oh, the Corgi, that's the other one. We'll go after the Bulldog, the $75 one. But if it's a bad team, we're gonna play it safer and go Corgi. Although we can make the argument of regression, right? Any weekend plans? My family's in town. Well, not my wife's parents, my in-laws are in town. My daughter's birthday is early next week, so we're doing some celebrating there. Just some family time. Gonna be grilling tonight. Got to do a lot of work too. Listen to a lot of your Becoming a Best Ball Bro podcast. Thanks for doing those. Thanks for listening, Patrick. I appreciate it. What's up, Mr. Scampers? What's up, JJ? Do you ever draft CD Lamb at 1 overall or CMC every time? I just get CMC. I just go by ADP because I'm doing enough volume that I don't need to really force it. Got to hope that the randomizer gods are going to put me in the right spots, frequently enough. I actually, I'll look right now on my phone and I'll see what my exposure is to Lamb. Yeah, Lamb's at 9%. McCaffrey's at 10%. So pretty much, I guess I'm a little bit overweight on versus the market on those 1 and 2 overall picks. The one player that I haven't gotten a lot of in the first round is Amon-Ra St. Brown, because I just don't like what I in this draft, he falls 7th overall. That never happens to me when I'm in the 7th overall spot. But then I never get the 6th overall spot where he typically goes. So I don't have as much. I would imagine my ARSB exposure is 5%, which of course I don't feel great about. But no, it's actually a little bit higher than that. I think there was a period with the puppies, maybe when I think my Best Ball Mania exposure to Amon-Ra isn't as high as I would want it to be. What are you actively working on right now when you're not doing best ball drafts? I got the Patreon stuff that I'm working on with the, my rankings and stuff. I'm updating my draft guide every week. You guys saw a couple updates to today with today's update. Couple players to target, a new player to avoid. I'm also doing the late round podcast, which I know is a 20-minute show, but there's more that goes into that 20 minutes and more prep that goes into that 20 minutes than any other conversation driven show that I do. So there's that. There's becoming a best ball bro. There's late round perspectives. It's really a lot of the show stuff that I'm doing and that I'm working on. Heard a lot of your guests talk about guys who will be big come best ball playoff time, rookies, players with a contingent upside, guys being suppressed by injuries that won't go long. Yeah. Is there? Yes. Okay. You're saying in relation to you listening to the show. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to understand which types of players do better during that, very, very important time frame. I think Pete Overzet has said it best, where it's like there's 4 chunks of the season with, the regular season is 25%, and then the next 25% is week 15, then 16, and then 17. Instead of thinking like week 1 to 14 has more weight than the rest of the than the rest of the season. I don't think that's necessarily true in best ball. It's not really. I mean, it's kind of true in season long, and obviously you got to get there. But at the end of the day, those weeks are clearly more important than your other weeks during the regular season. Okay, does TJ Hawkinson fit that pretty perfectly? Won't he help you in weeks 1 to 14? But playoff time, he'll be pretty great. Yeah, hypothetically. The problem is, what kind of capital are you going to spend to get him in order to maybe reap the benefits in weeks 15 to 17? All right. So we're looking at I'm going to go Devontae Smith here. I know ADP says differently, but I want to match him with CeeDee Lamb. Sometimes you get a falling Jalen Hurts in the 4th as well, but they play each other in week 17, and I like Devontae Smith a lot. Now, at the next pick, I've been leaning. I know there's clusters right here. I've been trying to get a little bit more neighbors, but I think I'm fine with going Ayuk here. He's falling a little bit because of the contract situation, but I'm going to go Ayuk. So we got Ayuk, Devontae Smith, and CeeDee Lamb. Just ordered your draft guide. It helped tremendously last year, especially the weekly emails. Your advice got me to pick up Puka and Kyron early in all my leagues. Thanks again. Awesome. Appreciate that. Got an in-person draft tonight, aka no ADP consensus. Recommend using tiers or working semi-off of it. I would actually go and use like a Fantasy Pros expert consensus and work off of that. And then, see how ADP is kind of fluctuating as the draft goes on. My draft guide talks about that a good bit, though. He's smashing Halo. Come on, man. I'm assuming that's related to my Friday night plans. Look, guys, I will say this directly to you. I would love to play some Halo tonight. I would love to play some System Link. Just bring the guys over, hang out, guys and gals. I don't care. Anyone who wants to play Halo, let's System Link. Some Halo 2. Get our battle rifles. Let's do it. Plasma frag rocket these folks. All right. Enough of the nerd talk. Saw you were heating up on Devontae Smith. Can you elaborate a bit on that other than his contingent upside? Yeah. Kellen Moore being there. I wouldn't say I'm heating up on him. I've been relatively high on him. It's just that I noticed specifically this week whenever I was looking at Fantasy Pros rankings, because that's what I relate my players to target and avoid versus and against to see who I'm higher and lower on. When I saw it, I was about, 8 to 9 spots higher in overall rank, which is pretty significant in the early rounds. And then I was about 3 spots higher in wide receiver rank. A lot of it, yes, there's contingent upside, but we also know that wide receiver 2s, team wide receiver 2s who are drafted as wide receiver 2s, they actually are not worse. People think, oh, they're not the wide receiver 1 on their team. They've got to be worse in fantasy football. No, they've actually outperformed the alternative historically. So I don't think it's necessarily that you have to target those guys, but you certainly shouldn't avoid them. And then Kellen Moore, I think they're going to run a lot more plays in that offense. Kellen Moore's lowest plays per game average since becoming offensive coordinator, just 5 years of data, is 65. which would have ranked 8th last year. They're going to run a lot of plays in that offense, and I think it's going to benefit everyone. Like AJ Brown, obviously stud, but it's going to affect a guy like Devontae Smith too. Let's see. Evans has a week 16 correlation. Yeah. But there was a falling Ayuk value. I also am not as bullish on Evans. But yeah, Evans gets Dallas in week 16. I'd be down to play Halo. Man, I really miss LAN Party. Dude, look, I'm not afraid to admit it. I do too. Which Halo did you play or do you play? I don't play any of them anymore. I grew up playing Halo 1, started at Halo 1. Halo 2 was probably my biggest investment in the series. Played so much of it online because I was a freaking like senior in high school. And then into college. Where what else are you doing? You're just partying and hanging out with friends and playing Halo, playing video games. Those were the days. Played a little Halo 3, or I think I played a lot of Halo 3. I've said it before on the streams. I liked Halo 2 more because I thought there was a bigger talent discrepancy. All right, so the AJ Brown manager gets Jalen Hurts, which is fine. I just was hoping that maybe we'd see a fall. You mean Perfect Dark? Perfect Dark is great. Watch out for Bomba. He always drafts Cousins naked. All right, well, I'm hopefully not going to go after. Hopefully not going to go after any of the Falcons, unless Kyle Pitts falls in the 6th. AJ Brown manager got Allen and Hurts. Yeah, this is true. Some people like to get weird. I don't know. I don't like doing that in Best Ball Mania because it's a big flagship tournament. The payouts are good. We only get so many shots at this. I'll get weird with like running backs and wide receivers. I drafted one last night that was kind of weird, but I typically won't do it as much at quarterback. All right. This is one of those teams where I'm going to be tempted to do the Lamar to Andrews thing. Fine with going Christian Kirk as well. Could go Patrick Mahomes and then have options. We went Mahomes in the last stream and it ruined us, but now we have many options that we would be able to get. Regardless, like we can go in a lot of different directions here. I kind of want to go Mahomes. I could go Mahomes or Lamar and try for the Lamar Andrews stack. But there's also the Dak and Purdy stuff. Guess we'll play it safe. Yeah, someone said you can get Dak and Purdy. Yeah, I agree. And this also opens us up to, going with Trevor Lawrence or something later. And also in the late 6th, the Jags Titans game is so stackable still from this area of the draft that it's hard whenever Christian Kirk is at ADP or a little bit past ADP to not go his way. But look, right now, like I'm probably going to end up going like Andrews if he's there. And just going naked Andrews. I just think Andrews is a good value in general, and he's the last. Like, to me, there should be a bigger gap between Andrews and Kincaid. A much bigger gap. I think Kincaid is more Kyle Pitts than he is Mark Andrews. I know others would say, wait to get Kittle. I don't think Kittle's going to fall in the 6th. He hasn't for me, at least, of late. Now, there's not a ton of correlation going on. Totally get that. We'll have to work that in, later in the draft. Not as concerned about correlation this early. So yeah, this is the other thing. So like we get Kyle Pitts here, right? So Kyle Pitts goes in the early. This is good for the Andrews pick. Whenever you take a guy at a onesie position in particular, and then you start to see the run start or start to see another onesie get drafted early, that could tip off other drafters to then get that position before it dries out. So we'll probably see Kincaid go, and we're going to see Kincaid go in the 5th more than likely. Maybe it doesn't come to fruition, but it also might push Kittle up the board a little bit too. Like, of course, I'd love Kittle in that build with Ayuk. It's just not the easiest thing to do. I see him at the 5-6 turn more frequently than I see him at the end of the sixth. So yeah, Kincaid goes. So so Kittle's the next tight end off the board, and we still got 5 picks left in the fifth round. But again, not a ton of correlation. I could have gotten Lamar here instead of Christian Kirk. But I don't mind having Mark Andrews as a standalone and then just getting like a Jonnu Smith or whoever as the tight end too. There's an Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman stack. This team's got 2 running backs, a lot of 2 running back teams so far, and I'm without one. What's up, Beefcake? Good to see you. The biggest problem with Dak that you can run into is what happens to the team that drafts Jake Ferguson. And that's been a problem because Ferguson's ADP has risen over the months of doing Best Ball Mania. Tell you what, guys, if you see me squinting, I've had perfect eyesight my entire life. And over the last couple of years, my wife has always been like, you're squinting more, you're squinting more. And then the last week, I've really noticed that my right eye gets blurrier. And I'm going to see an eye doctor for the first time in my life on Monday. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Jaden Reed's been falling a little bit to that 5-6 turn more frequently. And Rashee Rice is obviously rising. You got the Deontay hype happening. I'll tell you what. Oh, look at that Keon Coleman reach to get this Buffalo stack. Keon Coleman probably would have been there at 82, but I get it to some degree. There's Kittle. So I wouldn't have gotten Kittle. I mean, I could have gotten Kittle at the beginning of the fifth if that was the idea, but eye doctor, by far my least favorite doctor. I know that's the first time you're going because you call him an eye doctor instead of an optometrist. Yeah, man. I don't know what this is going to be like, but I did that pinhole check, whenever you close your eye. My friend told me about it yesterday, and my eyesight got better after I started closing it a little bit in my right eye. And so I'm like, and then he's like, yeah, that means that you got to probably get it corrected. So if you see me on these streams with glasses moving forward, I used to brag about my eyesight, you guys. This is bad for the brand. I'm a Rashee Rice rising and a Xavier Worthy moon. So to the moon. Yeah, I don't know. If I go like this, I feel I can see pretty good, but then especially on screens, against screens, my eyesight's worse. Could just have strain, maybe. Maybe it's an eye strain. Tell you what, another player that I'm getting more of is Kamara. All right, we'll see. We gotta lock in, folks. We gotta lock in. Oh, they blow a puff of air into my eye? I don't want to experience that. Guys, pray for me on Monday morning. This is going to be rough. When I'm not used to this kind of stuff, I got to go Brian Thomas. When I'm not used to this kind of thing, my wife's like, well, you can just wear contacts. I'm not going to wear contacts. I haven't worn I'm 36 years old. I'm not going to put contacts in my eyes. I'm not dealing with that. That sounds miserable. Yeah, they do sound over Kendre Miller. I'm fine with going Kamara here. Might have to do it with these wideouts. I could have gone Evan Ingram instead of, if I don't want to go Ingram with Andrews. I could go, you know what? Maybe we'll go David Montgomery. I don't have a ton of Montgomery either. And we'll get that correlation with San Francisco. Let's do that. Time to get prescription goggles, hit the B-ball court. Yeah, maybe I'll just Horace Grant my live streams. By the way, you're supposed to go I had no idea that you were I literally, you guys, I don't think I've ever been to an optometrist in my life. Kamara over Walker if Walker lasted. I think I'm gonna end up. I don't know what my rankings said, but I think I have Kamara over Walker in my rankings. Yes. I'm not very high on Kenneth Walker, at least versus the market. I think it's more okay in best ball because he's a big play guy, but um, yeah, I mean, I think the more I've thought about it, the more I think we're just kind of like predicting the demise of Alvin Kamara when we probably shouldn't. Yes, he's seen worse numbers, efficiency numbers, but you look at the situation, you look at what he did last year. What do you have? Like 75 catches in like 12 or 13 or 13, 14 games. The puff in the eye is nothing, but I still get stressed over it every single time. Okay. Thank you. I'm not as freaked out. Okay. I do have Kamara over Walker. You have Walker ranked fairly low. Yeah, I do. I think he's a fade. In season long, more so. I think in best ball it's a little bit different because of that big playability. But in season long, I just, I wrote about it today in the draft guide. I think it can go in a lot of different directions. Once you hit 50, you will see all sorts of docs that you never expected to. Like I've seen my fair share during my time. Fortunately, I'm a relatively healthy person. It could be worse, is what I would say. I'd say I'm pretty average. But I am one of those people that will go to the doctor immediately with an ailment. Whereas I know a lot of people, especially men, because they're like proud, they're afraid to do that kind of thing. But not me. Is there a specific reason you're low on Monty, or is it because of the strong takes on players around him? I'd say, I think Detroit's going to regress a little bit in the touchdown column this year, overall touchdowns. I think, Jahmyr Gibbs down the stretch last year saw more work in that backfield, even with the healthy Montgomery. And I think Montgomery is more of a floor play than a ceiling play. And I know that sounds backwards to people because of the touchdown upside and what that role has brought to this offense historically, or at least over the last 2 years. But if you look at his numbers, it's really been a floor thing rather than a ceiling thing because he doesn't catch many passes, right? The upside, though, in a best ball environment like this, and the upside in a single week like that, is obviously a Jahmyr Gibbs injury. If Jahmyr Gibbs is injured in weeks 15 to 17, Dave Montgomery is an RB1. So, I get it. I'm not like not drafting him. Clearly, I just drafted him here. But I'm not like overly high because I don't want, I don't mind the contingent upside arguments, but I don't want that to be one of the main reasons why upside can hit for a certain player, right? Like I want there to be more natural paths to becoming an RB1 and becoming that. Whereas like Alvin Kamara, we can obviously see it. We saw it last year with Kamara. So that's really the main argument. Do we need to pour one out for Rondale Moore? It's not looking as good. I thought Moore was a decent 18th round pick, but yeah, it's looking like it might be like a Ray McLeod type role. Was the dairy, gluten, soy thing doctor driven? No, that was more personal, but based on an ailment that I have. It's helped dramatically. Helped my gut really, really well. If you guys have any gut issues, you should try to go gluten and dairy free. Do like an elimination diet. I'm a big fan of elimination diets and then introducing things back into your diet to see how it affects you. That's why I'm not like I'm not like the health dude. Like I don't sit there and study it like others do. But I do think that every body is different and you got to do what works for you. Man, my chair is like falling right now. Speaking of body, apparently I got to lose some weight. All right, here we go. Got a bunch of running backs going off the board here. So I could go Ferguson and Dak maybe and just really, really pile on. Just hope that, so this team right here doesn't have or has a quarterback, the team at the turn. This team has a tight end. I doubt they would go Ferguson. I kind of want to be, I want this to be a little bit different of a roster build. Spending up again to get a second tight end. It could be helpful in a stack. Ferguson, it's a good value for Ferguson. And then just hope that this team that has no reason to get Dak Prescott, but to be fair, picked Patrick Mahomes without a Chiefs pass catcher. So this is okay, good. All right. They didn't do it. All right, we got Dak. We're good. This makes the passing of Mahomes and Lamar feel really good, right? We got a really good Dallas stack here. We're bringing it back with Devontae Smith. We still have these outs of maybe getting a Purdy or a Trevor Lawrence. Got to build the running back room a little bit, but tight end is obviously the best in this league, in this pod. So that's good. This is an 8+ already. I hope, man. I hope. Going mostly dairy free has helped me a bunch. Still indulge in pizza every week though. Yeah, going you're dairy free and indulging in pizza. I get pizza. There's a place near me that's got gluten free crust and then dairy free cheese. And I know that sounds horrible, but it's also like you don't get as much of like the greasiness with it and stuff. So it actually tastes kind of good. Land the plane. I gotta land the plane. You're right. How important is it to reach for players in order to maintain stack integrity? I'd say I think Leone said it best on becoming a best ball bro. He said like a round and a half for some guys, especially as you get later in the draft. Big bowel movement show. Look, I'm an open book when it comes to this kind of stuff, man. I think it's important for people to talk about ailments that 90% of people deal with, I hate when people are like, "Oh, you can't talk about this stuff. It's so gross. It's so weird." It's like everybody dumps hopefully every day, right? I wake up every morning and boom, do my business. Vegan cheese I've tried for lactose intolerance, but it just feels like I'm eating raw dough. So I just do Parmesan. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever your body can. I think a lot of people can handle Parmesan who are lactose intolerant and can't do don't do dairy. I think it's great you talk about it. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's an important thing, man. Health is important. By the way, I just got a bidet for Prime Day. Literally changed my life. Dude, literally this week I installed a bidet in my house and in my bathroom, my master bath. It is life-changing. Life-changing. When you have a kid, all potty talk has gone out the window for me. I agree. If you have a child, and look, if you don't have a child, it's fine. But if you have a child, you have seen the worst of the worst. Like you have seen it. Yeah, Dan said might need to get a bidet. Get a bidet. It's great for your butt health, man. It's great for your butt health. Free the bidet. It needs to be normalized in America, bidets. How many best ball streams are talking about bidets? Huh? Where can you find this content elsewhere? I want to get a bidet too. Just use wipes now, but that's a big waste. Yeah, and watch out, man. Those wipes can hurt you in the long run. Just saying from maybe some experience. Name this underdog team bidet. This will be the bidet team. Yeah, we'll have to rate it at the end. So far, like we said, it's probably about an 8 right now. We'll just see what kind of late round values we can get. I mean, I'm worried at running back for sure, right? Like having this pick of Andrews with Ferguson, it's fun and it's a different build, but it also is leaving us pretty naked at running back. We're probably not going to get that much correlation at running back. When you say you will be above or below market on a player, how do you determine market percentage? It's 1 out of 12 teams, right? So if I mean, late round guys will be different because not all late round guys will get drafted. So, if you're at like 7% for a guy who gets drafted in 1 out of every 5 drafts, right? That percentage is different. But for a guy who gets drafted every single draft, CJ Stroud or Jonathan Brooks, for guys who get drafted in every single draft, it's just 1 divided by 12. So it's what, 8.3%. So anything above that, you're above market and vice versa, or you have more than the market does. Got to run. LOL. Like this team. I'm 75 out of 150 in BBM. Kid Calzone is my username. All right. I'll take a look. See you in those streets, Dan. Take care, man. I'm not on anything, and this opening ceremony is still tripping. Is the opening ceremony happening right now? All right, we gotta focus up here. Purdy's there, man. Purdy's there, and then we just slam running back. And I've been getting more. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is there too. So do we just go? You know what I might do is just kind of get. I don't want to go Zeke. I know people are going to say go Zeke. I'm not really into Zeke. And I'm trying to buy into Chase Brown more right now because I think his ADP is going to rise. There goes Judy. Okay. I'm going Chase Brown here because I'm fine with either Purdy or Lawrence. I don't have a strong opinion to get Brock Purdy. Maybe I should go Purdy but I have two Jags receivers. I have that correlation. I'm going to let the other guy choose for me, and I'm going to get Chase Brown because I think his ADP is going to start rising. And I think he's going to have a role in that offense. Corum, there's obviously the possible. Corum to me is more of like the ceiling, could go in a lot of different directions play. But I need stability, a little bit of stability. And I think Chase Brown's going to have a role. I think his ADP is going to rise. All right. Now we can get Purdy. I'm just going to go by ADP and get Purdy. And then we have this Jag stack that's there separately where if we want to bring it back with Tyler Boyd or something like that later, that's fine. But I think that's fine. I feel good about that. I still have a stack with Purdy and Ayuk. And then I have a bring back with David Montgomery. I don't think Purdy is like that much better of a fantasy asset than Trevor Lawrence at all. But I'm going to play the ADP game because playing the ADP game here a little bit does differentiate my lineup, right? Because if I'm just getting Trevor Lawrence around ADP, then that means there's going to be other Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence type teams, whereas there might not be as many Dak and Purdy teams per se because I got Purdy so far after ADP. This team's looking pretty fresh. I saw Rich joined, just catching up on two times speed, was basically blind growing up. See, you say -6, -6.5. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I've never been to an optometrist. I don't know this stuff. You got LASIK in your 20s. Yeah, my brother got LASIK recently and he's obsessed. I don't think I'm probably going to be one of those people that just like needs it to see things like maybe while I'm working and then maybe when I'm like watching TV or something like that, or there's something worse going on and I got to figure that out. This could be a 7 running back team hypothetically, yeah. Because I'm done at quarterback, I'm done at tight end. That's only 4 spots out of 17. So, I mean, it's at least 6. I think I take T-Law and build off of his weeks 15 to 16 stack since you already had Dak as your QB in a week 17 stack. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. But, I showed you my logic a little bit there. The other thing, like with San Francisco, there are still some, there's like Demarcus Robinson for the Rams in week 16. There's Jalen Wright in week 17. Jacksonville, it's like their week 16, their week 15, 16 is the Jets and Raiders. I also not really a secret, because you guys have seen so many of my drafts. I have a lot of Jags. I have a lot of Trevor Lawrence. It's nice to get a little differentiated lineup here for me. I think some people might yell at the Chase Brown pick though. But that's literally me. That's a player take thing. Like I think Chase Brown we might see Chase Brown rise into Devin Singletary range. A round higher. Well, actually more than a round higher in August. He's already getting rave reviews. Some of the beat reporters there are saying that it's close between him and Zach Moss. I've been closing the gap. I have Chase Brown at like running back 34, 35 or so. But we'll see. We got to get cute and creative with these running backs here. How do you measure the efficacy of focusing late season matchups versus choosing players that you think are strictly better? If I think they're better, I'm taking the better player. That's really what it comes down to. But I do need to get a team stack, like a quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback, pass catcher stack. So I'll force that a little bit. But when it comes to game stacking, it's not as pertinent. It is important, but it's not as big as individual team stacks. I agree. Chase Brown is going to rise, maybe higher than Singletary if Pirine doesn't get cut or signed somewhere other than Cincy. Can see him getting even higher. Yeah, but like if the market is playing for Samaje Pirine going to Cincinnati, then I think that's even more reason to get Chase Brown because that's kind of crazy. Like that's a crazy outcome. Like it could happen, of course, but it's still a crazy outcome. I love all of these. Man, I'll tell you what, the running backs are getting weaker and weaker because this is a pretty running back heavy draft. But it's good that they're going with these quarterbacks and such. Hopefully these teams get wide receiver. I could go Pearsall too, which is a possibility maybe in the 13th. I think we need to get a running back first, like Jaleel. Andre Yoshivas. About time someone brought him up. Look, typically when a guy doesn't do that much during his rookie year, he's not going to become like a league winner the following season. So I'm not like going to draft him heavily, but I mean, like I think that an 18th round dart throw is fine. I think like in dynasty and stuff, like people are going to be interested because like T Higgins could be gone next year, all that kind of stuff. But you know, I'm not that high on Yoshivas. I think that he could be fine and can be a role player, can give you some usable weeks, but I'm not like massively high. Sorry, I said all that while I was drafting, so that wasn't the best answer in the world. All right, so we got Jaleel McLaughlin, and then I got Ricky Pearsall to stack with Brock Purdy. I drafted Jamal Williams with my last pick the other day. I think that's becoming a reasonable pick too. You know, Jamal Williams can pass protect. Kendra Miller can't stay on the field, and clearly Dennis Allen had that quote yesterday. Yeah, if Burton wasn't there, it'd be different. But like, look, we're talking about a small school guy in Yoshivas who sure was productive, but you know, he played in the Ivy League. Like his production actually wasn't that like a Justin Watson had better collegiate production at Penn than Yoshivas did at Princeton. I think it's fine. Again, like we're talking about a guy who is an 18th round pick, is an afterthought. So like, sure, do whatever you like. I'm not going to talk you out of it. I'm just saying that like oftentimes when we start to get hype from players, we often overstate what that then means in terms of like what their true outcomes are. Could he be a wide receiver 4 or 3, maybe even 3 in fantasy football? Maybe. But like we're trying to find like true difference makers. And if anyone thinks that like he has more upside than Jermaine Burton, they're out of their minds. Like they're nuts. Just strictly objectively looking at ceiling. Could he outperform Jermaine Burton this year and moving forward? Yes, but we're looking at most probable outcome, range of outcomes. A guy like Jermaine Burton has such a higher ceiling than Yoshivas. From a prospect standpoint, from a we haven't seen him yet standpoint, we've seen Yoshivas. Trenton Irwin was getting run last year. Like, what happened? I don't think Yoshivas was hurt, was he? Now that I say that out loud. I'd be shocked if he can get more than like a 341 peak game. Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of people are capable. Like, we're gonna see 100-ish, you know, top 24. I think that's the number. Top 24-ish type performances a wide receiver throughout the season. But yeah, I mean, like for him to consistently do it, it's gonna take a lot. Yeah, Charlie Jones was hurt. Who Charlie Jones I actually thought was just as intriguing of a prospect as Yoshivas was because Tyler Boyd was going to be gone this year. and Jones could have hypothetically manned the slot. But yeah, I mean, Jones was an ancient prospect. Sorry, I'm not on this other screen. We're gonna have to get crazy, like I said, with some of these running backs. This might be a 7 running back team. We'll see. There goes Burton. My DJ Chark exposure, I've been getting him. I get him in stacks at least, but it's not like massively high. Jones and Chase Brown haunt me as a Penn State fan. Also, I bet his touchdowns were over expectation last year. I ended with 4, I believe. Yeah. All right. Good news is we still have this tier of running back chilling. You know, people are not into Vidal, right? Or Vidal. It's Vidal. Technically, it's Vidal. I have a bookmark of him pronouncing his name because I knew I'd be bringing it up so much. There he goes. I'm gonna go Ray Davis, even though he's Wait, did he go? Oh my God, he did go. My bad. I guess Chuba, and we hope that he gets some of that run early on. I guess they get Dallas also in week 15. Some people are really high on Chuba. I'm not one of them. Kendre is going to fall to me. I don't really want to draft Kendre, though. I'd rather go Antonio Gibson at this point. Although, no, you know what I'm going to do is I'm getting Elijah Mitchell. I'm going to get Elijah Mitchell as the contingent upside bet with Brock Purdy in a San Francisco stack. We're going to get other running backs. I think that Eli makes a lot of sense for this build because then we just have a San Francisco onslaught. Do I like him straight up more than an Antonio Gibson? I think Gibson gives you more production throughout the season, has a better projection. But I need to thank my wife right now for walking in just a second ago and turning on the ceiling fan for me. I'm now not going to be sweating. Hopefully can you guys hear the fan through the mic? I've always wondered that when the fan's on. I mean, obviously it's a good mic, but you never know. All right. Yeah, we're going to be throwing. So we got 3 picks left. We'll probably go one more wide receiver, and we might go 2-7-7-2. We invested with these 4 wideouts to start the draft. We have some upside in Brian Thomas. You know, I think maybe like a Khalif Raymond is the play to get some more stability, a decent projection that's late, and you get the correlation as well. And then we get some running backs, and we go with 7. I think we might go 7. Do you guys think that's crazy, or should we go 6 and 8? Thanks, Mrs. JJ. I love you guys are the best. You guys, I can't hear the fan. Thank you. I like it. Lots of constructions work. I think a 3-6-6-3 one last year. Yeah, I mean, I think some crazy stuff can definitely work. This is probably a little contingent on Jacksonville's passing attack being decent for Brian Thomas. But, you know, when you go 2 tight ends fairly early, you're going to have some sort of gap, right, with your lineup and where it's at. I think that gap is obviously at running back, but we're going to try to make up for it with some volume at the position. Maybe throw some darts at some rookies. Like Will Shipley would be a fun one with Dallas, right? But I do think we do need to try to find some production potentially at running back. But I like the idea of 2-7-7-2 with this one. I think the draft is. I think what we might do the Bulldog. Well, I don't know if the Bulldog will fill fast enough. Maybe we'll just do the Corgi. But I'm gonna do another one straight after this. We're just gonna get right into it. There's a loud noise muffling your voice. I hope that's sarcasm with the fan. I hope. Yeah, Khalil Herbert's always on my radar. I've been drafting him a decent bit actually recently. Yeah, I'm afraid the Bulldog won't fill fast, and I don't want to just sit on the screen and just wait and wait and wait without knowing if it's going to fill or not. All right. There goes Braylon Allen. Yeah, like Tyrone Tracy. Like this is one of those situations where like I'm not like we have enough correlation in this lineup. We even have like Cincinnati, Denver. Carolina gets week 15 against Dallas. We got our Dallas players. Um, I'm not overly concerned with correlation to an insane degree. If it can fall into place, that's fine. But like if we could get a Herbert, if we can get a Tyrone Tracy, or even Audric Estime. Although I don't want to get Estime with Jaleel. I know that there's plenty of research that says that you can do something like that. I don't feel as comfortable doing it. The two running backs in the same backfield. So yeah, we'll see. Herbert there goes Tracy, but Herbert would be good. This team's gonna get Herbert. They have DeAndre Swift. It's gonna be one of those situations where they're like, I gotta get Khalil, lock up that backfield. People got real weird in my corgi last night. We're gonna get weird. We're gonna get real weird. There's no reason to. Oh, look at that Roshan over Khalil Herbert. Here's the galaxy brain move is getting Khalil Herbert and him going to Dallas. That's the gal brain. All right. So I don't have big discrepancies from one player to the next for the most part moving forward. So I'm going to look at running back real quick. I might get Tank Bigsby and get a nice Jacksonville stack, or we could go Will Shipley and bring it back. Maybe we go Shipley and get a rookie running back in there, and we'll bring it back with Dallas. Tank Bigsby sucks. We went 7 running backs, folks. We have more running backs through 17 rounds than we do wide receivers. The last wide receiver, ideally, hopefully no one in the draft is listening to the stream. I think Khalif Raymond, but there's a lot of wideouts we can choose from. The running back room is David Montgomery, Chase Brown, Jaleel McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard, Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, and Will Shipley. Becoming an RB bro. Yeah. Look at these last 4 rounds. Just all running backs. Extra weird would be Dearness Johnson. Yeah. Well, the reason I want to get weird with the corgi is because it's going to fill, and there's only this short time period where people are going to be playing in it, right? And so you need your lineup to be a little bit different. So I'll probably reach a little bit and play it a little strange, depending on where I'm at in the draft. I kind of want to get like a back half pick because, if I'm at the 112, I'll get 2 second round picks to sort of, maybe I'll get like an Ayuk and Debo to start the draft. Your vote's Calvin Austin. I had Calvin. I've gotten Calvin Austin in Pittsburgh stacks. My thing though is I like the correlation of Purdy with Detroit in week 17. Detroit also gets Chicago, and I got Khalil Herbert. We'll see. I mean, I'm open to a lot of different things. Like I could go Greg Dortch unstacked and be happy because I think he's going to play a role. I might even just go Dortch over Raymond because I just like him more. There's a lot of guys. We could just do this too and go with Yoshivas, who we were talking about throughout the stream. We'll see though. Rondell Moore gets drafted. I don't think you can draft Rondell Moore right now until you see him playing with the ones and stuff. I don't think you have a QB correlated week 16 game. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you get Tampa Bay for Dallas, so it's going to be hard to do that at this point. San Francisco gets Miami. I can go OBJ. I kind of want like some solid production though. And I think Dortch can provide that in this round. Or I could just go OBJ. Did he go? He might have gone. No, he didn't. Mid pick, maybe Tyreek Waddle. I mean, Tyreek Waddle isn't that uncommon to begin with. I've gotten plenty of Tyreek Waddle. There goes Dortch. Yeah, the Yoshivas Chase Brown thing, that's kind of fun. Maybe we could do this and just see if his ADP rises. Someone's probably going to take him. I have a lot of Khalif Raymond. Here's Javon Baker. What are we rating this one? 8 out of 10? It's a different build for sure, but I think it kind of came together. The running backs are ugly, but that's what you get whenever you wait and only pick one through like round 11. Yeah, 8 out of 10. I think 8 out of 10 makes sense. You guys going to stick around for part 2? Would be 9 if you got a really, yeah, I would agree. I think it'd be a 9 if I got like an amazing running back value, but we didn't really see that happen, unfortunately. All right. We'll get Yoshivas if he's there. We'll get Khalif Raymond if he's not. All right. All right, we're good to go. Just to recap, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, pretty solid duo. David Montgomery, Chase Brown, Jaleel McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard, Eli Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, Will Shipley. So you got some contingent upside players there. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas, Ricky Pearsall, and Andre Yoshivas. And then we had the tight ends, the dual tight ends there of Mark Andrews and Jake Ferguson. All right, let's do the corgi. 20 seconds per pick. Looks like we are waiting for 9 people. 20 seconds per pick, though. It's late July and Olympics time, Paris Campbell season. Oh, man, we got to go Paris Campbell. We got to get Paris for the... We should go with an Olympic-themed corgi. I don't know how you do that, but... JJ, have you messed around with the Best Ball Explorer tool? Not yet. Not yet. And I say yet because I hopefully will be soon. Still waiting on 4. Yeah, Xavier Worthy track. Yeah, maybe we just draft all the people who like Devon Achane who ran track. Xavier Worthy, or just fast people in general. Or people with broad shoulders, the swimmers. Pierre Garçon, round 18. Oh, man. We'll see how this goes. All right, it's filled. We're waiting. Where do you guys think I'm at? 6. This could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown team. Just talking about that. But hey, maybe we get weird. Maybe we take AJ Brown at 106. Are you in this draft, WJ? You said that you're hyped for it. Did you make it in? Is there a WJ in here somewhere? I was literally typing 6, I swear. I haven't gotten 6 in a while. I don't want to be super chalky, but my brain always goes to like, I'm doing a lot of these drafts and blah, 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 but we'll get weird. We'll get weird. I think other people are going to get weird too. So we will get weird. It's a random one-off $5 entry. Why would we not get weird? Oh, WJ, I got you. I didn't know if you were in here or not. I'm glad that you're excited to watch. All right, let's see. Do you ever have drafting dreams after I dream of drafting all the time. All the time. I think me and Rich, who's watching this right now, I think we've talked about it before. All right, here we go. Is this the Amon Ra team? Is this the ARSB team that I have not gotten in a month? Seemingly. It is. I'm doing it. I haven't gotten him in so long. Don't you have to make the finals to get paid in the corgi? I think so. I didn't really look at the rules. I'm not gonna lie. You dreamt you took Ramondre way above ADP. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, I think you gotta. I think you do have to make it to week 17. Can I look at the? Is this where I find the? Yeah, here we go. $76th is $0. So you got to get 75th or better. How many are in this? 22,000. Okay. Yeah, we got to get to the finals. 2 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, top 300. Okay. So we do need that week 17 correlation like crazy. Let's just focus on week 17. Because based on that, what Beefcake is talking about, because I didn't look at the breakdown. Can you look at the breakdown by round here, or do you have to click more rules? I'm not trying to like change my browser tabs and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go like Debo or Ayuk and then Laporta. Actually, Andy just said the same thing. Yeah, we're gonna focus heavily on Anthony Richardson in round 2. I love it. Let's go, Zach. Let's look at that. A Travis Kelce, Anthony Richardson start. This is why we love the corgi. All right. I mean, it's gonna be so hard for me to not take Drake London. Okay, he's not there. All right, we're going Debo. We got the correlation. I cannot wait to see Zach Chopper's team at the end of this. You might have to take Purdy in like the 4th round. Yeah, for real. For real. At least I have Goff as the other out. But yeah, this could be a Laporta in the 3rd team. Unless Ayuk. Oh my God. If Ayuk fell to round 3. Could you imagine how few pants I'd have on? Oh, there he goes. There he goes. The 12 spot is thrilled Wilson fell to him. Yeah, for real. I got Wilson at 12 earlier today in a BBM. I can't remember who went ahead of him. I think it was Gibbs. Yeah, Gibbs went ahead of him. All right. We're going Laporta. Because we getting weird. It does hurt my heart though to take Laporta over like Cooper Kupp and Malik Neighbors. I know my rankings say this. Again, I talk about it all the time. I take my redraft rankings and convert. I'm gonna have to change it a little bit, I think, to make sure that like Neighbors and Kupp are ahead of Kyron and Derrick Henry. All right, we're going Laporta. The whole draft is like, oh my gosh, what a reach by Jagers. All right. We are stacking. And we'll see what's in the 4th, right? Like I don't think that there's going to be an obvious stacking partner. All right, here we go. Zach's on the clock. Give me it. Derrick Henry. Come on. How do How do you go so far off the board with Travis Kelce and Anthony Richardson and then get the falling value in Derrick Henry? Or at least the guy who was like next on the ADP list. Did I miss what the tea of the day was? The tea of the day every day now is Ticino, the coffee stuff that I drink. It's not really coffee, but it's delicious. You guys should check it out. We need to all email Ticino and tell them they need to sponsor my podcast and these live streams. I'll do it for free for free Ticino. I don't even want money. Just give me free Ticino. All right, here we go. Here we go. Tank down. You're getting week 17 correlation now. What did your little brother take over at the beginning of the draft? What's going on? All right. Let's go Cooper or Pacheco next. Just go that route. I really like Amari Cooper. I think they're going to throw a lot. I really like Isaiah Pacheco. I think he's going to get a lot of looks in his offense. We're going to go Pacheco. Right as I'm talking myself into Amari Cooper. Zach is living. Zach is something. Definitely a bidet sponsor. Yeah, for this stream, like this particular URL live stream, yeah, bidet would have a bidet sponsor would have been great. That's a true Pittsburgh fan. Lean toward running the ball. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts fall into the man. That team is feeling good, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I did finally get Amon Ra. This is not, for the record, this is not a Best Ball Mania. This is a Corgi, $5 Corgi. So we're getting weird, single entry, truncated time frame for when people are drafting. So we're going to take some chances. I think the next pick, if he's there, is this. Because, or this, that's fine. But I think Rashee Rice makes sense with Isaiah Pacheco, with the upside, with maybe, yeah, let's go Rashee Rice. Take care, Beefcake. Good seeing you. We're moving Deontay Johnson up after yesterday's camp. I don't think you really have to. But yeah, I mean, he's a good target. I think he's a good target in season long because he'll probably have a nice floor. I just worry about the ceiling a little bit. Here goes Kincaid. I could go, if Kittle falls, I could go Laporta Kittle and really make this team wild. We'll see if he's there though. Joe Mixon, Xavier Worthy. Nothing wild happening. Let's check out Zach's team. Yeah, like ever since that pick, that Richardson pick, it's been chalk. And Michael Pittman went here. That probably ruined him a little bit. CJ Stroud. All right, if Kittle's here, I'm getting Kittle. And we're going Laporta Kittle. And then maybe we'll get like a flex in week 17 of one of those guys. We're doing it. We're freaking doing it. We have to have a weird lineup. This is fun. This is exactly what I wanted this part of the stream to be. If you want like the pure strategy talk, go listen earlier to the Best Ball Mania one. This is we're getting weird and we're drafting week 17 correlations. We do need some wide receivers though. And I don't know what's going to be there in the 7th. Big tight end energy today. For real, we drafted 4 tight ends in 2 drafts, and it was Mark Andrews, Sam Laporta, George Kittle, and Jake Ferguson. Big tight end energy. I'm getting any wide receiver. Oh my gosh. We got to do it, right? We got to get JMO if he's there, right? We need the onslaught. Don't do it, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't take him. I love that you guys are like egging me on in this like suboptimal journey. I don't think it's actually that suboptimal given the way this is scored. We got him though. We have 3 Detroit, all 3 of the Detroit pass catchers. We don't have the Detroit running backs. We have a nice stack in Kansas City, and then we have San Francisco. Oh, this is hilarious. Wait, what was Tua's contract? Here, I got to look this up now. The shade to Khalif Raymond. Hey, look, we didn't get Raymond last draft. We're getting him in this draft. I got to see what Tua's contract looks like. Four-year, $212.4 million. What's that average out? I mean, it's over 50. So 53 million a year. I wonder what the guaranteed number is. Everyone always looks at the overall, and it literally doesn't matter. I bet you he gets 100 million, 106 million guaranteed. Maybe he'll. Do you think they'll give him 3 years guaranteed? I feel like it's gonna be like 100 million guaranteed. I'm not salary cap. All right, 106. So they did give him the 3-year guarantee. 167 million guaranteed. That's wild. I mean, good for Tua, man. Zach, go get Tua. Yeah. Zach did get Jordan Addison. There's a lot of just non-stacked teams going on here. Not me. Taking 3 teams so far. 3 NFL teams. All right, we gotta focus. Probably need to get a tight end. I'm just kidding. I probably need to get a wide receiver. Maybe we go Curtis Samuel. No, you know what? Let's get Jonathan Brooks. Get some upside there. Taysom Hill signed a 4-year. Yeah, that's true. 167 million guaranteed. Could you imagine? Just getting 167 milli. Good for Tua though. I don't think he's that bad. It's just you got to really be cool with, what he brings. 10 wide receiver team. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Could be an 8. Might be a 3 quarterback team, depending. Yeah, I mean, it could be a 9 wide receiver team. Yeah, I think that you can win with him too. How many Christian Kirks is this? All right. So it's Purdy and Goff that we got to worry about. I'm not going to get both of them, obviously. So let's go Sutton. Gives us like a late. Oh, I thought this is totally forgot these were 20-second clocks. I was like, why is it already at 10 seconds? So we at least got Sutton for a potential like Bo Nix QB3 situation. Can also go back to Chase Brown later and get week 17 through that. I think we'll probably force it with Brock. This is also a scenario where I'm okay with getting. So, like, I know that whenever you get two quarterbacks from the same week 17 matchup, you want more outs then in week 17. But the one thing I'll say is I don't mind it as much when I get a third quarterback. And maybe that's the play. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I might not even get Purdy here. Ayuk went over here, though, and I have the two other San Francisco guys. So someone's going to have to get a naked Purdy if they do it. If I had 167 million guaranteed, I'd be maxing out all the best ball tournaments. Yeah, I mean, you max out all the best ball tournaments and probably just turn on auto draft and not care. All right, Javonte, Dontavian Wicks. This team right here next to me does not have a quarterback, but they are relatively. No, they're not. Oh no, they're going with that Atlanta, Washington. I think they're a coherent drafter, competent drafter, understanding stacks in week 17. All right, we got Purdy. You could just buy underdog. I don't know about that much, but you could definitely at least invest heavily. The one thing I'll say too is maybe I just go with Goff and Purdy and just say, hey, maybe one of them is going to go off in week 17. What's the word on stacking a quarterback with 3 pass catchers? I would stack with 3. I do it all the time. All right, we'll see. We'll see if our boy Chase Brown falls to the next pick to get Sutton correlation. Like I said, I think his ADP is going to be rising. Yeah, I saw that Liam maxed out the fast puppy and autoed all of them. Be interesting to see what he says in his content and the result of that. Man, Chase Brown would be really cool to have on this team. I think I can push Goff a little bit. Let's go. All right. So we have Detroit and San Francisco. We have Chase Brown with Cortland Sutton. And then we have Jonathan Brooks just kind of chilling there. I kind of love this team. I'm not going to lie. And I'll be okay getting Goff at QB2, I think, in this kind of environment. I mean, maybe it's not optimal because you want more outs but like I've got so heavy San Francisco, Detroit that I just need that game to shoot out week 17 if I make it, right? Like that's all it comes down to. And to get there, I'm going to need Detroit's offense to do well. I don't know if I'm going to get Goff, though. I'm 7 picks away, and he's at the top of the ADP list. McMillan for Brooks. I like that. Will someone go with a naked Goff? Well, I guess Gibbs. But Gibbs has 2 quarterbacks, the Gibbs team. He didn't take them. Or David Montgomery. David Montgomery's over here. I have literally every other Detroit player. So if someone takes Goff, they're just kind of being suboptimal. Because it's not that far off of ADP, right? Yeah. That's a decent bit. Nope, there he goes. There. It's Zach. Zach takes Goff, guys. Zach takes, of course it was Zach. Of course it was Zach who takes Goff. It's all right. We're good. We got a stack out of Detroit. But we do have to think about other guys that we can get later. I'm just going to get Charbonnet because I like Charbonnet. Of course it was Zach. We're going to get Charbs. But we do got to think about, I do like the Jalen McMillan backdoor with Baker and then getting Bo Nix late. Or maybe Leggett falls. Maybe I should have just drafted Leggett there. We still have outs. Oh, Zach. Oh, Zach. You ruined a very fun lineup. It's actually still a very fun lineup, to be fair. It's probably better because how many Goff Purdy stacks are out there? I mean, there's a decent amount, but it's also a week 17 game. There goes Leggett. All right, I really do have to think about, oh man, but then Pearsall's there. I do have to think about some of these backdoors though. Another one could just be a last 2-round Pittsburgh stack to go with the Kansas City guys that I got. Don't hate that idea. Like Russ and Calvin Austin. Russ and Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson will probably be around next round. I feel myself getting more and more excited about Leggett. I think he's fine. I'm not overly high on him as a player, as a prospect. It does hurt me to pick Pearsall over Burton because I like Burton more. But this is, I have Brock Purdy. I kind of have to do it. All right, so our move might be to go Russ and Bo Nix and stack Russ with like Calvin Austin or something. I don't know why I typed them in. Because I already have the bring back of Kansas City. There's also Adam Thielen if he falls to go Bryce. But yeah, Roman Wilson could work with the build as well. So quit picking players. I'll at least have them highlighted. We're only 6 picks away. Maybe Thielen is the move. Just kidding. Could also go cheap Daniel Jones or something. But I like the idea of getting Russ because we have the Kansas City stack already. Was it Zach? Did he take Thielen? No, Zach is on the clock right now. We'll see how he stacks Jared Goff, aka with no. He's gonna take Khalif Raymond in the last round. That's his move. I mean, this is a completely just this lineup just doesn't make any sense. Cam Pipe has been on Fields this week. That's because Russell Wilson's hurt. He hurt his calf. Roman Wilson just got drafted. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I can get Calvin Austin. I guess we'll open it up to a Giants stack. No, I don't want to do this. We're getting Troy Franklin. Did I get it in? Oh, okay. Woo! Man, that was close. Had to go Troy Franklin though to get Denver going. We're gonna get all right. So we have to be careful here because I only have 4 picks left, and I need Russ, a Pittsburgh wideout, and Bo Nix. So I'm going to reach a little bit to make sure that we get some of this. I probably don't have to. Let's get weird. Should we go Mims? I think that's too much. I think that's too much Denver. I think right now we're looking at running back. We can go Eli Mitchell again. That's what we did last draft. Yeah. Marvin Mims is too much Denver. We have enough Denver. We don't need any more Denver. Ray Davis will be good. But we'll see. I think I might go Eli Mitchell if I don't get Davis. Davis fits, though, the mold of like getting us some production with a weaker running back room. Okay, so we'll go Davis, and then we got to go quarterback, wide out. So that's we're going 5 running backs, and then we're going to go hopefully get Bo Nix next. Zach will probably take Bo Nix as his QB3. Okay, I get that it's best ball on any given week. Any random player can go off, but isn't it better to just still skip players who look like busts? I don't know. Who did I draft that looks like a bust? I mean, we're in the 15th round. Everyone kind of has a bust-like profile. But I'd be curious which player in particular you're talking. Marvin Mims, QJ, Jonathan Mingo's. Yeah, I mean, like, yes. I don't think I haven't drafted a lot of them, right? Like, I haven't drafted, I don't think, any Jonathan Mingo. Marvin Mims, I haven't gotten a ton of. I like Troy Franklin more than Marvin Mims. QJ, I haven't gotten a ton of. I'd rather just get DJ Chark in a Chargers build. So yeah, I mean, like, you should be underweight on those players. If you don't believe in them. If you believe in them, then don't be, right? But yeah, the chance that those guys like become league winners is pretty small. Whereas I think at least we have the potential of Troy Franklin being something relatively decent, you know? Man, he got a third quarterback and it was Will Levis. My gosh. So the weird thing is I'm going to reach for Bo Nix because of the way that I have to fill this roster out. And he's higher than Russ in ADP. Still a pretty fun team. There's a narrative that Mims will have real value. Look, I don't mind. I don't want to take this as like I have this strong opinion on Marvin Mims. I think I'm around market, maybe a little bit below. I just like Franklin more. Like I'll argue that. Mims standalone, I don't think it's necessarily worth an argument. But yeah, second, like David's saying in chat, second year guys who don't do a lot their first year, like Mims, QJ, Mingo, they all kind of clustered in my year 2 model, and it doesn't look that great for them. Devontae Adams is an example of someone who had a bad first few years. Yeah, but go find me a Devontae Adams. Go find me another example of that to that degree. He's 1,000,000% an outlier. Other guys will we will see some emergence. Like Nico Collins was a later emergence and didn't like necessarily go nuts his rookie year, but we're playing probability. Like, you know, I always say like it's no different than saying, okay, well, you can get Tom Brady late in the NFL draft, so always draft your quarterbacks late. That's obviously not how we're gonna have to play it or should play it. All right. Let's hope this person doesn't have a Steeler. No, they're not going to. They won't take Russ. They take Russ. Yeah. All right. So we got our 3 quarterbacks. We're going to really need Bo Nix in week 9. And now we're going to get Calvin Austin as our stacking partner with Russell Wilson. That's where we're at. If not, it's Van Jefferson. The point, though, with Mims, I see you guys arguing about Marvin Mims in the chat. The point isn't about, like, can he be okay? I think he can be okay, which is why it's different in a best ball environment. Season long, you do not need to get a guy like Marvin Mims. You don't. You don't need to feel like it's just not a worthwhile cause, right? Versus some of the other later round guys that you're going to be choosing from in a season long managed league, right? But a guy like Marvin Mims in best ball, a little bit different because he will probably have some spiked weeks. He has that archetype. He is that archetype. And I do think he's going to get some production. Some production is different than being a wide receiver 2, which is the kind of thing that you need in a season long league. It's just a different kind of environment. I think a lot of us would probably agree with that to find a middle ground here. I think it is a little bit different, you know, in a best ball environment where you're just trying to get some production or you're trying to work on a stack and that kind of deal. Darnell Washington. Why stack in best ball versus season long managed? Because best ball is a tournament environment where you got to beat a lot more teams. So you need that variance. You need to embrace the variance. You need to embrace that upside. No, this is the last draft I'm doing today, but it was a lot of fun doing 2 of them with you guys. Yeah, exactly. Can't be overweight on Denver offense as a whole, but 75% of the tournament is 3 games. Right. Like, I don't think it's like, I don't think Mims is this like horrific pick because I don't think he's going to be a 0. Right. And it's the 15th round, so it's not that big of a deal. But in a managed season long league, you can find guys off the waiver wire. There's no reason to get that kind of production in that kind of format. Right. All right. Here's the squad. It's pretty fun. I know we got ruined with Goff, but it's still pretty fun. Purdy, Bo Nix, Russell Wilson, Isaiah Pacheco, Jonathan Brooks, Chase Brown, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Debo, Rashee Rice, Jameson Williams, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Troy Franklin, Calvin Austin, Sam Laporta, and George Kittle for the $5 Corgi. Good stuff. That was a lot of fun today, guys. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. I hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. I'll keep you posted on my my eye doctor appointment, or sorry, optometrist, because clearly I'm not a veteran of going to these doctors because I called him an eye doctor. But I'll keep you posted. Maybe next time you see me, I'll be wearing glasses. I hope not, though. But yeah, anyway, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate the conversation. Always a good time. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you next week.